Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom. I'm a stay-at-home dad for no kids today. Evelyn went with grandma to run some errands and just having a grandma adventure day. And I am in need of some stuff. You can see I went to U-Haul and picked up a box because I sold that mother of pearl inlay guitar, junk condition. I sold it for $150 plus shipping. And I am having a banner day. Sold this Harley Davidson jacket that I paid $100 for. I sold it for $155 plus shipping, but that was a private buy thing. It wasn't like a yard sale, or I bought it from a friend who wanted rid of it, and it's making a connection. Anyway, I made a good deal of money for as easy as it was. But we are at Goodwill. Let's see what we can figure out. But it's a totally different experience being at Goodwill by myself. It's kind of weird. Who knows if I'll do better or worse, but we'll see what happens. $2.59. There's a Sony Dream Machine. I don't know about these, but I know there are some people who rave about them, so we'll comp that. This looks very interesting. Sony 5-disc DVD. So maybe it's not. It's only $27. It appears to have a docking station for your old iPod that goes with that. This is interesting. Just the pattern makes it look vintage. It's not. So then I was going to say I'm not even sure what it is. Not a lot of cool stuff here right this minute. See, that's weird that there's a 5-disc. Is this priced separately? An inline, like a power amp, that might be worth because it's so much smaller. So this comps at like $20, 25 plus shipping. And sell-through's not super great, and I can't really test it. Like, plug it in and it lights up, and that's all I know. So I grabbed Stratego and Harry Potter, $1.44 each. So I'll comp those. Echo for $5.99. So the guy who talks about these is an Amazon seller, and they don't seem to have the same fervor on eBay. So of all the things that I've picked up, I put everything back except for this. This Shuts is a really good brand, even at $15. There's a bunch of meat on the bone. And then these are really, really nice rocker folding chairs, and they're $15 a piece, so I'm gonna keep those. So only one item today to resell. A good one, but not an exciting day. At least not for picking stuff up. But my sales are currently at $600, you know, and that's not profit, that's sales including other people's sales tax and, you know, everything. Just sold this Ninja blender part, just the cup that holds the stuff you're blending. And I picked that blender up for $6.50, and it had like 3 different cups, that being the one that sold being the most valuable, and the motor, but the motor didn't work. I listed it for parts. There are no records of any selling for parts, so I put it at like $15 plus shipping, and they sell for $30 just the motor if it's working. And so I'm hoping I get a best offer for, like, you know, enough to make it worth putting in a box and not throwing away. Because stuff like that, I'd just rather see it not end up in a landfill, and I could buy the $1 part that's going to fix it. It's no doubt a capacitor on the main motherboard that enters electricity on to the rest of the board for control. And I know which capacitor it is just from what it's doing, which is nothing, which means that it's not getting any power. And so that means I've done a little bit of research, and that means capacitor, it's not hard to fix, but I know I don't have time to do it, and I don't have the screwdriver bit to take it apart. And I could get the screwdriver bit and the capacitor for like $2.50 including shipping, and then fix it and sell it for $30. But am I going to take the time to do that? Probably not. Maybe I'll order the parts, and if they show up before it sells, then I'll fix it later. But I just know myself well enough to know I'm probably not going to fix it later. So let's just try to get it moved to somebody who wants to fix it. Anyway, while I was in Goodwill, my buddy sent me a message and said, one of the best garage sales there is today. Started today, and neither of us knew it. The Catholic Church has the biggest garage sales every year. They have 2 of them. What's going on here? A whole bunch of traffic. Oh, a bus stopped, and then a whole bunch of cars had to stop behind the bus. Oh, because a semi is working on the middle of this road. Anyway, probably added all of that crap out. But I've decided to refrain from running over there because I have to go that way tomorrow anyway. And so I'm gonna go later. And I've always found good stuff there, and I've never been breaking down the door to get there. So hopefully that happens again. But I don't have Evelyn today, so I need to be at home doing all kinds of stuff that involve not paying attention to a 3-year-old who's about to be 4. I need to be listing and organizing and building a photo station and all kinds of stuff, and I only have 2 hours until I got to go pick up Brothers. So anyway, not much at the Goodwill, lots of sales, and no Evelyn today. Also, it looks like it could storm at any moment. So look, you can see the rain coming down on that side. So yeah, it's about to break loose with some rain. And the church sale is inside, but I need to be home doing stuff, not out running around not doing stuff. Here we are back in the storeroom for the first time in a while. Reoriented the storeroom a little bit, gives me a little bit more space, a lot more room to work. I have a new station over here that has all my shipping stuff a little more laid out and organized. Anyway, banner day. Holy cow. We were just at Goodwill 7 hours ago. Now, maybe even more than that. Geez, probably 10 hours ago. And I was telling you, I was having a really good day. I sold a lot of things, and I showed them. I told you about them, showed them to you. We're going to go over everything. These Nancy Drew books I bought at the sale that my buddy told me there was a good sale, but I elected to not go. Probably going to go tomorrow, but then he went, and he's like, this thing's a total bust this year, so don't waste your time. Anyway, last year at that sale, I got these books, and I listed them today, and they sold today. Nancy Drew, a lot of 350s, Gossett, and Dunlap. So Nancy Drew books are not all bangers. They're not all winners, but the oldest of them, and these are all like dust jacket covers from the 50s, they did reasonably well. I mean, I paid 50 cents a book. They sold for $19 free shipping, $19.90 free shipping. But that buyer also bought, Asher's going to bring me those Nancy Drew books as soon as he finds them because I told him where to get them. The buyer also bought these Charlie Brown books that have been in my store forever. I have no idea where they came from. Maybe they were a hoarder house thing. He snuck up behind me. So Asher just found me Nancy Drew, and more Nancy Drew. Thank you, sir. So that buyer bought both of these. And these were $5 and these were $20. So that'll work out really well because then I won't have to ship these for basically sold for nothing. Those are nice shoes. These Jordans picked up for $6. This is a 13. The style is 13s. And they are my favorite style of Jordans. These are a youth 6, women's size 8. If you're looking at 13s, the most common way to tell if they're fake is this holograph. They have a really hard time. If you can see Jordan in there clearly and it looks nice, then it's normally a good shoe. I can't make it show up, but these are good shoes. And people aren't generally faking 6.5s. So I listed those yesterday and they sold today. I think that's all that's from the inside of the house. Let's go find some movies or something.
All right.
So the item that just sold, the next one in line, doesn't have an item location in the custom SKU or in the picture. So what we're going to do is go down here and look at, I looked at the listing and it said it started on March 7th. So then I'm going to go to my active listings and sort by start date and see what started on March 7th and see if we can find it. I'll let you know.
So it ended up being in a box that was listed 2 days before.
Show them what it is that sold. It is like a weather radio that's a hunter themed thing. Levi found it for like $5 or $6 and it sold for 30 something. I'll throw it up on the screen. So let's move on to finding something else. So this is a hat I paid 75 cents for from this lady who was selling a ton of hats. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't pick it up, but it was in that huge lot. She sold for $6 plus shipping. But paid 75 cents. I already had it. I might as well list it. And Asher is going to show you
I found
if it's alien, a Monster High, not the dolls. And I said, it's kind of like aliens attack the earth and then these high school kids have to defend the through basketball. And what did you say?
It's Space Jam.
It sounds like Space Jam. And I didn't watch enough of it. I just watched enough of it to make sure that it wasn't recorded over or that it wasn't, that it was going to play. And so, but that's what it seemed to be. So he's right. It does seem very Space Jammy. All right. So I don't even know if I told you, there was a guy who had hundreds of free VHS tapes on Facebook Marketplace here when we took the kids to Indianapolis. So I get on there and message my buddy and I'm like, hey, go get these for free. And when I get back from Indianapolis, take some pictures, send them to me, and we'll make a deal. I want to buy them from you. And he did just that. And I spent $200 on those VHS tapes. And I sold one the other day for $90, and then I traded a bunch for a sign that I sold for $50. So I'm like $150. These sold for $10, so I've got like 150 of my bucks back, plus a bunch of other ones that sold, that Monster High and a handful of others. I'm gonna more than make money. Maybe it wasn't the best investment because the trading for the sign I did with my brother, who he got the better end of that deal, and that's fine. Anyway, Poltergeist 1, 2, and 3 sold quickly. These silver top ones, if you have all 3 silver top ones, that is good. That's better than like piecemealing them like that. But that sold $10. Horror movies sell in small lots. There's a lot of horror movies that are just random and super duper good. Maybe I didn't show you this one called Chopping Mall, which is about as cheesy as it could possibly be of a title. And it's about these robots, security guards that they hire, and the shop to protect the mall. And they're fine during the day, and then they become murderous. And they have to stop the murderous machines from doing their job of security at the mall. I didn't actually watch it. I just did a little bit of research trying to figure out why it was better. Sold comps were between 130 and 90. So I listed mine at like 108, and somebody sent me a $95 offer, and I just didn't accept it and let it die. And I didn't get any more interest. And so then I sent out on my like 10 watchers a $95 offer. And the person who sent me the $95 offer initially, well, is the person who took it. But watch out for Chopping Mall. I would be comping most. And there are a handful of like brands. Media is one of them. I think Viacom is one of them, that are really good brands. My brother will put in a list of things that are in the comments that are like really good like if you see this one, it's definitely worth comping if it's not just an unconditional buy. So keep an eye out for horror VHS tapes. This is the controller to a V-Smile. And I found this complete in-box V-Smile at Goodwill for $6. And I'm like, that is definitely worth picking up. Oh, wait, it's not complete. It doesn't have any games. Oh, wait, it doesn't have a power cord. But it does take batteries. So we put batteries in it. We played it for a little while. And it would play for like 10 minutes and then freeze. And I was like, okay, well, we'll just reset it. 10 minutes, freeze. So then I bought games to test it. And I only paid like $6 for all of these games. So now I'm $12 into it. I was able to sell this and this for $20. Basically cut my losses. V-Smile isn't, VTech stuff as a general rule isn't good. But I was gambling on that because it was in the box. And I thought it was complete. And it turns out the power cord thing is like an accessory, optional accessory. So they don't come with a power cord because they made them have a battery option. More soap. I bought like 10 of these. They've all now sold right around Christmas, but this same person bought all of them, and I put them in 2-packs, 2 at a time, for $22 plus shipping that they paid me, and they paid international shipping. It's going to Canada. So somebody is using a ton of this soap in Canada and spending some money on it. I might go back to Ollie's and see if they have any more. We talked about this guitar for a minute, but I'll show it to you before it leaves. Beautiful scrolling on there. Here, there's a big old whammo on the side, and I don't know if I can make you see that. Yeah, there's just no chance that you're going to see. Like, they put putty, wood putty, on the inside to cover that hole. The neck, while the neck is secure here, the action is so high. The difference between the strings and the fretboard is called the action. And if you think about like when you see somebody playing rock guitar and they're like string bending, it changes the pitch. Well, if you have to bend the string that far just to get it to the fretboard, that is pitch. That's going to change the pitch. And so this guitar needs set up super duper bad. And it also has a little bit of release here in the bridge. These are things to look out for. So if you're looking at buying a guitar as an investment and the action is out, that's not a good sign. This older one that you can see, this pick guard is shrunk and disformed. So somebody's probably going to have to heat that up, peel it off, use the original as a template and make a new one. And then the back, you can see that like it's raised up right here. Like the back board and the side board don't come together flat. I think somebody has peeled the back off to try to do some repairs and failed at those repairs. So anyway, I sold it as a wall hanger or a project, listed it for $199, and it sold for $150 plus shipping. That is an old style headstock with the tuning keys going up through the side and gearing something to turn those posts that go through the headstock. That is indicative of 20s, 30s guitars. I'm not saying you're not going to find one on a more modern guitar, but that is definitely older. See if I can hold it where you see the shape is of the neck. This is called a V neck. It is not round. It almost comes to a point. It is triangular shaped, but you just can't see it. Maybe there, maybe that you can see it. It's triangular. And so that is indicative of a 30s guitar. But I put in the listing, I'll put I guess I already did that, put up the description so that you guys could see like This is a project. It's got lots of flaws. I don't know much about it. What you're buying is just what you see. Picked this up for $3.50. It's a Penguin by West Bend. This is for keeping buns warm, or a lot of people just assume that it's just an ice bucket. It was marketed as hot and cold, like Yeti, kind of. This is a pre-Yeti, and it has Bakelite handles, and it's considered mid-century modern, though it probably fits more into the Art Deco time frame with these straight lines. It's kind of both. It would be nice and functional in an Art Deco or mid-century modern. It's a nice decorative piece that's going to fit in a lot of decor. This is awesome. I picked up all those buttons the other day, and man, they have sold. This one sold for 17 bucks, and went in a day and a half, and the rest of them went really quick. I'll throw up, I don't know if I've shown you guys any what's sold. So these are the other buttons that have sold. The big lot sold in just a couple hours. The Charlie Brown lot sold within a day. This Hobbit one sold within a day, but then the buyer said, hey, is it okay if I pay you tomorrow, after he already agreed to buy it? And I don't care. I said, you get 4 days by default with eBay, and if he had gone more than 4 days, I would have just canceled the order and blocked him and then canceled the order, because then he couldn't reorder it very quickly and I wouldn't forget. One of these batteries, this one works, and this one runs the drill, but then it does that with the light. So I don't know. I sold the good battery and the charger together, but I'm going to ship this battery in case they can get some use out of it too. But I didn't include it in the listing. I just don't want to throw it away, and I don't want to take it to Home Depot to have them. If you have these lithium ion batteries, and this has to go UPS. It doesn't have to go UPS. It could go parcel select too, but lithium ions have to go ground. Or I suppose, though I'm not going to, because I think they say not to, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with these. This is the kind of these I bought when I was finding a lot of perfume and focusing on trying to find old perfume and anything that would be combustible because it has alcohol in it. These, you don't want first class. Like a perfume bottle can go first class, but it can't be transported in the air. So you put this on it, and then it goes first class ground, which takes longer, but it's safer for the delivery people. It's legaler. And so that's something, just a thing to keep in your hip pocket. If you're doing perfumes or heavy paints, I would probably, if I was doing like a tester model paint thing, I would probably put that on it just to be safe. Things that would be, if you lit it on fire, they would make a fire worse, and you don't want that on a plane. And so surface transport only stickers is something that I just have with my markers and stuff, and I rarely ever use them, especially anymore. But they're a good thing to have. This I just picked up. We talked about that while I was at Goodwill. This is the blades and the lid to this Ninja. The whole thing would sell for like $95 if the motor worked. This sold for 50 bucks. 46 free shipping, buyers all in at $50.08. And then this jacket, my neighbor came over and he's like, hey, if I gave you this jacket and you put it in your eBay store, do you think I would end up getting $100 if we split the profit? And I looked it up and I was like, well, I could list it for like 200 and expect it to sell somewhere around there. So I was like, you want $100 out of it? Why don't I just give you $100 and then I'll just take the risk. I really don't like doing consignment. There are good arguments for doing consignment, and I've had really good experiences doing consignment, but I've also had really bad experiences doing consignment. I consigned some stuff for a guy once, and it was just a bunch of toys and comics and stuff that his son, who had passed away, collected, and they were gone for a long he had been gone for a long time, and some of the stuff wasn't in really good condition, and some of it was not fast movers, but I basically took the whole pile. And then he got a hold of me every week, and he's like, "What's sold this week? What's sold this week? What's sold this week?" And you can imagine if you had a bunch of CDs, open loose toys, and comic books, like, you're not going to sell those quick. Literally last week, that was 20, it would have had to been 2019. And literally just last week gave away the last of those comics, because he would call me every week and say, "Hey, what's sold? What's left? Hey, have you got any money for me for a payout for the stuff that's sold?" And I'm like, at some point I was just like, let's look at what's left, and I will just give you money for the rest of it and buy it outright, and then you can be done worrying about what sells and pestering the life out of me. And so I stopped. That was my last consignment deal, and I wouldn't tell you it's a bad idea, but it has to be with somebody who knows the deal. And if they know the deal, then they probably, and I would say, like, I would stick to fast moving items and pay them after the delivery, just because you can run into problems where the buyer gets it gets damaged, gets returned. It's just easier to pay them what it's worth. So that's what I did with this jacket for Jim. It is a 2XL tall, which makes a difference. Big old bikers like to have nice jackets, and this is a 2XLT. Oh, it's up here. 2XL tall. And the tall makes a lot of difference on the value of that jacket. I would have probably listed it for $150 and taken $125 and wouldn't have been able to give Jim $100. But I like dealing direct with people that I know. So if Jim has something else he wants to sell, he's going to come to me. I gave him the good deal on this. I made money, and will, in the future, I suspect that will bear fruit further. I think that's everything. I think that's all 16 of the items that I have to ship. Trying to do this. It is right now 20 minutes to 9 p.m. Just want to get this done before the morning, because I got to go pick some stuff up from auction, hit some yard sales on a Thursday morning, and I'm sure I'll have plenty more to do tomorrow. I've got to, with a day like today where I sold $700 before bedtime, I want to make sure I'm keeping my foot on the gas, getting good stuff listed. I mean, I had a handful of things that sold for $100, over $100 today. These two, the jacket and the guitar, sold for $150 respectively. I think the guitar was plus shipping, the other one was free shipping, something like that. No, they were both plus shipping. Anyway, lots of things that those three things were really good, and then a handful of $50 things. So I feel like I sell stuff that's $150 so infrequently that it feels a little stilted. But even if you took those $300 out, I still sold $400, which is an incredible day. So I want to keep my foot on the gas. So I'm going to get this stuff listed. I'm going to let you guys get out of here, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing. Say hi to Asher. Thank him for helping. That, if you don't have anything else to comment, that would be a good thing. And we'll see you guys later.